and I got my coffee here. I don't actually know whether I'll drink any. I don't know how long this is going to go, by the way.
Hopefully not too long.
Hopefully not. Hello everybody, welcome to another video. I'm here with Boots. Say hi, Boots. How's it going?
Hi, Boots. How's it going?
Not bad at all. Yourself? Yeah, Boots has been in Japan. So we've both been kind of away, right? I was away right when the expansion got announced, and then
as soon as you got back, I left.
Yeah, there was like one day I came home, Discord, and I looked on Discord, and Boots was like, "Yeah, I'm about to leave. Do you want to record something?" I was like, "I haven't even unpacked." So we're both back now. There are a couple of things from Secrets of the Obscure that I really, when I looked at them and their announcement, I thought I got to do something with Boots about this, and it's mainly the gameplay stuff. So today, what I want to run through, I don't know really how much you've given a thought to this so far, Boots, but I want to run through one of the big features of the expansion with you, which is the weapon mastery system. So just as a quick explanation, anyone who missed my coverage of that before, or you've had your head under a rock or so on, the weapon mastery, now they say mastery, I don't think it technically is a mastery for what it's worth. It's some other system. I think if you pick all the information apart that they've given us, the masteries are already accounted for in this X-Pack. So I don't know exactly how they'll give this to us when the X-Pack comes out. Have you got any ideas on that?
I think you talk to a weapon master, and then it unlocks.
Right. Is that just a guess, or is that some interview that I haven't read?
I think it was like in the notes.
Oh, really?
I thought so, or maybe that was in the beta that we did.
Well, see, so I missed the beta. Okay, so to be clear, guys, this system is that going forwards from Secrets of the Obscure, and I believe this is a core system. I don't think you have to buy the X-Pack for it. It's just kind of coming at the same time. I think, anyway. That I didn't know.
So I'm not sure about that yet either. I'm
really?
Not sure if... Yeah, because it's, for the expansion... Right?
I don't know, it strikes me as a core... Maybe people in the comments can comment about this. It strikes me as a core feature. To illustrate it, though, it's that all of the weapons that are currently tied and associated with specific elite specs are now going to be globally available, no matter what elite spec or even the core profession that you're running. Now, maybe you need the X-Pack for this feature to unlock.
Well, of course, yeah. I think you'll need each individual X-Pack to unlock.
Yes. Yeah, you would need each of the X-Packs for the weapon initially. Like you probably won't get a sword if you don't have the a sword or an Ellie if you don't have the X-Pack that gives you the Weaver, for example.
Exactly. But I think, you know what, I think you might be right. I think it might be a core feature, and then possibly, because the additional thing is that I'm also excited about is every class will get a new weapon as well.
Yeah, okay, but the new weapon, let's deal with that in another video. I think we can
we have to deal with that in another video. I agree, but I think that at least will probably only be available to players with the expansion and not with the core.
Exactly, I think that's true as well. If you guys can see, we did a lot of discussion earlier in the year when ArenaNet announced they had these new ideas about these mini X-Packs. What were they going to do to replace elite specs? And what you can see is they've done like this groundwork patch, which we'll be talking about here. Weapons are no longer tied to elite specs, and now that's essentially just opened the door to whenever they do a mini X-Pack, they can throw a new weapon out on each of the classes. So we'll just do the groundwork for now. I've made a tier list. I thought this would be a good tier list video. I think the next one as well on the new weapons will be a good tier list video as well.
Now, you hold on. Before you continue that, you say now with each new expansion they could just throw on a new weapon. I don't know if that's going to happen either, though. I think this might be a 1 or 2 time thing, because they can't just inundate every character with every new weapon.
Well, you might be right. At most, they can only do it 3 times, because Warrior is only it's only missing the caster weapons, and then after that they are kind of... But then the thing is, they could do entirely new types of weapons later as well and continue it along. We might finally see whips and great axes and scythes and stuff. But if they actually do that, then they could go on for a very, very long time if they so chose. But okay, so just as a general overview, guys, I didn't give too many of my thoughts of this little initiative. I'm a little disappointed by it. Certain weapons, I think, do have very clear ties to their specific spec, like Torch on Scourge feels very natural to Scourge, but not anywhere else. The Chrono shield, like animations and ideas, I think still feel very tightly matched to Chrono and feel a bit weird elsewhere. But what we'll do is we go through this tier list now, is we'll see what we think is strong, what is weird, and hopefully just any cool mechanical strangeness, because I think there is going to be a lot of strangeness, Boots, and I'm sure you've already seen. So can I just ask as well, did you play the beta? Because I missed the beta.
I did, but I was only in there for about an hour because I kind of just want to wait until it all comes out to try it out, you know?
Oh, man, I really hate that I missed the beta. I really hate that I missed it. I would have gone ham and tried each one, really. What did you try in there? I guess you just stuck to 1 or 2 classes, maybe?
I tried Axe Willbender.
Okay.
I tried Condi Weaver with the warhorn.
Okay.
And I tried... I forget now. Something else. I forget what, though.
A Condi with a warhorn. That's interesting.
Yeah. Because the warhorn is pretty good for Condi with that fire field.
All right, well, speaking of Ellie, let's jump in with the tier list, okay? Because we got a lot here. I started with Ellie just because I went light, medium, heavy, so that's the order we'll do it. So we've got Ellie here at the start. What are your thoughts, Boots, on the fact that Weaver can now get warhorn? What do you know?
I mean, warhorn's a pretty good weapon. So now that Weaver could use it, I think it's just pretty decent. I don't know if we could call it S tier, though.
Well,
I would say go ahead.
Isn't this the really broken one that people were like using against large hitboxes?
But
Factory. So the idea here was that if you had a sword weaver and you get all the massive, crazy sword damage, you can just supplement that with a crazy warhorn 5 now, and like a power build. And it was just ludicrous damage.
Because that's the thing, like, elementalists' offhands are either dagger or focus, right? And neither of those is that impactful for damage. Warhorn is just, it has the damage.
Yeah.
So that's why it's good. Both Condi and power. So Warhorn's just a solid offhand.
For people that don't really know, the sword DPS loop for Ellie, when we're not dealing with when you're elite sub, it was just going from fire to air, fire to air, fire to air. And if you think about those, like Boots said, you got fire grab, but the others feel a lot more low impact. Then suddenly Warhorn's giving you the fire field, and it's giving you the lightning orb. Boots, I'm going to put this at S just because this caused so much notoriety and commentary from people.
It'll do a lot more damage.
And this was just wasn't this like 60k or something obscene? 50, 60, like 50, on a large hitbox, admittedly. Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, if we're going to put anything really high for the PvE people, so this leads us as well. I don't want to go too astray. We got a lot. I
remember there was a time back in the day when you chastised me during either a Boots Bad build or some sort of balance patch thing, saying, "Oh, we can't just continuously think about raiding."
Yes, no, and I agree with you. I mean, I am being a bit hypocritical there. I agree with you. There is a lot more to the game. But I mean, it's so strong. It's going to be strong everywhere.
I would put it at A. I would put it at A, not
really?
S. It's good. It's good. I don't know what an S is yet, but it's good.
Exactly. If this isn't an S, what is an S?
Okay, we'll leave it at A for now. If we can't think of anything better, then we'll put it at S.
I mean, I think S's can also be like the theme feels really good, or there's cool trait interactions, stuff like that, right? Not just being strong.
That's why I wanted it A, because I feel it's just Warhorn is a strong offhand. And
it's only on the hitboxes, and you're right, it's only really in PvE there and that narrow thing. But yeah, okay. All right. I see it your way with the A. I do want to ask you a question though, Boots. This is so strong. The question is, how will ArenaNet address that? We've seen them do weird little things before, like Scourge has it with Doomfire, where they're like, okay, if you have this elite spec, this Grandmaster's just going to have different functionality, sorry. We've seen them do stuff like that before a little bit. It's always been a bit hacky.
So this is the problem with this whole situation, and that's some elite specs are in some ways carried by their weapon.
Yes.
And if that's the case, giving that weapon to other classes makes things unbalanced. So, I mean, the knee-jerk thing that you got to do is nerf the weapon, but then that nerfs that elite spec in general.
Yes, exactly. Do they nerf Warhorn here for this fringe scenario, or do they find some, like...
Well, it's not a fringe scenario anymore if it's...
Well, I mean, fringe in terms of all the possible combinations, this is the one that's strong. And yes, and everyone would end up running it, and then therefore it doesn't feel fringe. But you get what I mean. Like, according to the whole class... It's a weird situation that I don't really have an answer for. I think that's the Pandora's box that they open by introducing this system. And
so in an ideal scenario, balance would be perfect and this wouldn't be an issue that comes up, but it is an issue that comes up, and we go back to their balance philosophy article that they did, where they said what they want to do for balance is to abide by this sort of point buy system for skills and traits.
Right.
in that everything is sort of individually balanced on top of being globally balanced. And they haven't done that yet, but they're releasing this into the wild before they do that. And it's going to be a long time until they're able to properly do that for everything. So we'll see how it works out.
In practical terms, still, you've just given me a principle. I still don't really see what they'll do here.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I do think I know what they'll do. Do you know what I think that they'll do?
They'll nerf Warhorn and then buff Tempest.
Yeah, but how? Yeah, exactly. But then how will they nerf the Warhorn? I think that the interval, the number of ticks on the lightning orb, I think that skill will get gutted. I think that'll have a bit of a meteor shower treatment, where like subsequent ticks do less and less or something like that. It will just do like way less hits because they'll just look at that and they'll say that's an outlier skill we're fixing.
Or if they don't care about power creep at all, they could buff focus and dagger.
Oh yeah, so everything's at 58k. No, I mean there's gonna be enough. There's gonna be enough. All right, next we got Warhorn Catalyst. I actually kind of like the idea of this.
It's also an A for me. It's just because Warhorn's good, This is going to be a theme, I think, for a lot of these selections. Is that when the weapon is good, it just makes everything good.
I think what I like about Warhorn Catalyst the most, right, is you get some interesting boons on the fields, especially in PvE, like Aegis and stuff, which then you can sand squirrel with the Warhorn. And, there's like nice blasts and stuff on the Warhorn, which also combo with the Catalyst fields.
Yeah.
I don't really
what I also like about Warhorn Catalyst is that Catalyst gives you quickness, and Warhorn skills are a little slow to cast. Not too slow, but a little slow to cast, so it'll feel good, I think, to use Warhorn with quickness.
Yeah. I don't really know what main hand to imagine here, but can I just say, guys, this video is not perfect, in as much as there are like dual wield capabilities that I haven't got listed here because the matrix would just get too huge. For example, I believe you could put a sword there as well. You could have a sword Warhorn Catalyst. That's all 3 elite specs. And was that in the beta boots?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so I mean that's a lot of possibilities there. Boots, if at any point you think, oh, there's a really good dual wield, just we'll mention it.
I mean, sword Warhorn Catalyst is pretty good for power damage. Is pretty strong.
Well, yeah, let's move on to sword now. Sword is interesting, and this is going to be something that comes up a lot in this video, in as much as if you are sword but not weaver, you don't get the dual strikes. So every attunement... Now, I didn't play the beta, so I don't really know how this felt. But my general understanding of Weaver is that the dual strikes, i.e. you have to double attune to get access to them, are always slightly stronger in their balance because they're slightly harder to get to.
You do get those, yeah. You get... As a sword tempest, you get those double attunement ones.
Exactly, and they're like slightly stronger because they take a little bit more investment to get to, but now they're just there straight away. It's like having Unravel. It's like having the utility skill Unravel permanently on, and to me that feels like that's really strong as well. So like with this Warhorn thing, Sword Warhorn Catalyst, that gets to just instantly hit that the massive goddamn like air double attuned air sword 3. That's crazy strong. I think that's strong on Tempest too. It's strong on everything. It's strong on everything.
I wouldn't put them both that... I mean, I think you're overvaluing the 3 skills.
Oh, yeah?
I think you are. I think there's a lot of non-dual attunement skills that are also good for sword.
That's definitely true. That is definitely true.
Yeah. I think sword works so well with Weaver because there's so many different skills that you could just continuously cast.
Would you put these down at B tier then, would you?
I'm trying to think.
I really like sword. Sword's got the gap close.
I mean, it's because it's also it's a good damage weapon. So a good power damage weapon.
It's a very good defense. Okay, so I'm not just thinking about PvE. To be clear, guys, one of the main things I've been doing is world versus world and PvP lately. Like a lot of time in both of those. Sword is not just that. Sword's really good in those game types too. I mean, think about all the evades on Riptide. And on the earth too, as well.
Okay, yeah, you could make with a sword and possibly a Warhorn, maybe Catalyst. You could make a very tanky little guy.
Yeah, and think about all the combos as well that you.
You could put them at A if you want to. I think
Sword Tempest. I don't know. I'm not that excited about. I won't say sword tempest, but sword catter I think's
with the leap.
Really
you could
cool.
get a combo field. You could get an aura with. No, you're right. Yeah, that's fair.
I think this is slightly less interesting. And actually, guys, I think one of the themes is, for me anyway, is when there's a very support-heavy spec, I'm a little bit less excited about the cross-pollination of weapons onto them. You'll see that as it comes across. Okay, Boots, my favourite possible combo, I'm putting at S because I think it'll be great, is Hammer Tempest. I really want to try Hammer Tempest, man.
Well, okay, explain to me why you think it's going to be nice.
if you think about... First of all, Hammer is really strong. I love Hammer, especially in the competitive modes. I think it's really, really, really excellent. It's got so much value on it. And if you think about what it's like to play as a Hammer Catalyst, this is what I do in open world PvE as well. You're running around, building energy and dropping the fields, okay? And the fields give you boons and stuff, but essentially they do like very low ticks of damage and they're just some boons or whatever. If you instead are a Tempest, just imagine substituting those kinds of low impact fields. Instead, if you're a Tempest, you still get the field, right? Say you're fire overloading. Except now, it's way more impactful. You're getting stab as you go along with it. It lingers after you've cast it and like does big ticks of power, big ticks of conde. You can still combo out of it. And then you get stuff like overload air on a goddamn hammer, or you get with all the hammer skills, or you get overload water, like another massive resustain ability that isn't there on Catalyst because you just get the water field. Now you get all this extra value too. I think it's maybe the traits are a little bit lacking on Tempest. You do lose elemental fortitude and stuff, but I think this is so cool. I cannot wait to try this.
So I'll tell you that I personally have not tried Hammer enough to get enamored with it yet. I know it's good. I know it's good, but I don't know if I'd put that at S tier. I think Catalyst works well with Hammer as it is. And like, so what are you using the Hammer Tempest in? What's this for?
I'm thinking mostly about... Okay, here's my mindset with a lot of this stuff when it comes to Guild Wars 2. If it's good in competitive, it's good in open world, right? Builds that are good in competitive, they feel fun, they work in competitive, they tend to have...
In open world, yeah. You're not talking about like DPS rating or something.
No. I'm talking about the majority of my gameplay, which also overlaps with world versus world roaming. So I think all those areas of the game, generally speaking, and especially if you're low manning old content, like if you're going into...
So here's my problem with Hammer Tempest.
Yeah.
Hammer honestly feels, and it felt like this when it first came out, like it needs quickness to feel good.
Okay.
And so a Hammer Tempest will not have that quickness, and it'll just feel very slow.
I don't see. I haven't had that. Maybe you're right. I'm gonna pull a veto here. I think we each get like.
You're vetoing? Okay, all right.
We each get 2 vetoes. Okay, Boots. All right?
Fine.
We each get 2. So I'm putting mine for it. This is my main excitement out of everything. I really want to try this.
Okay.
So I'm pulling one of my vetoes. Hammer Weaver. This one's interesting, guys, because this is one of those situations where the devs actually have made new content. Now, again, I missed the beta, but so you get dual skills now because it's Weaver.
That's right. And I think it's a very clever way they did the dual skills. However, it doesn't really add any skills.
Wait. So just to explain it to people, as far as I understand, and Boots, you can confirm this. You get double orbs now, right? Like you press the button and you get 2 orbs at once. If you're like fire water mix, you get both.
Right. So if you're so the Hammer Catalyst, you press the middle button, and depending on your attunement, you get an orb of that attunement that goes around you, and it extends the duration of the amount of time that goes around you. Yeah. If you are a Weaver, if you're double attuned to the same attunement, you still only get 1 orb. But if you're attuned to do different elements, you get both of those orbs
at once.
But
they're shorter duration, aren't they?
Well, no, I think it's the same duration, but because you can't like swap through all the attunements, you can't have it all up at the for a longer period of time.
Oh, okay.
Right? Because they're already up, so you have to like use it earlier than you would normally be able to.
So it does feel a bit different, at least.
It feels a little bit different. So it makes sense the way it works, and it's kind of clever, and I think you'll be happy to use it this way as well, just to be able to get those orbs up faster than you were able to as a Catalyst, and shoot them faster than you were able to as a Catalyst. But, it doesn't really add any new skills to the game.
No, I think they didn't want to tamper with the way hammer flows too much. I don't think they wanted to create a new feeling weapon or whatever. I think that would have been a lot of work for what they were trying to do. So I'm not surprised they did the orb thing like they did. But I mean, it's better than nothing, I suppose. They could have just had the same skills, but it's just your main attunement is the only one that matters.
Yeah, so I would say, for me, Hammer Weaver, the new Weaver skills, quote unquote, that you get from it, I would say B tier, but a hammer on a Weaver...
That's interesting you say B though, Boots, because this is an example.
Now, hold on a second though.
All right.
So, but because it's a hammer on the hammer itself on the Weaver... Weaver has access to like so much extra damage. You have a lot of so much barrier, and with the hammer you have defensive abilities as well that are pretty good with the block and stuff like that. I think it brings it up to A tier.
Okay, so in terms of strength,
just strength, the combination of the hammer with the Weaver, back up to A tier at least.
Yeah, and I agree, because I think hammer's really strong. It's one of the reasons I've got it up here. And I think if you just pair it with a strong... This is like what we mentioned at the start of the video. If you find a really strong weapon, and then you pair it with really strong elite specialization, very often they're going to be just really, really good. I don't know. Yeah. Also, I think this is A anyway, just because it's special and different. It gets new skills, We're going to see that with Berserker in a bit, and I think whenever that's happened, that's cool to me, And I think I'm going to rate that high, personally. So you go, that's Ellie, and I know what people are thinking. Oh, Ellie bias, blah blah blah. We just started with that.
Yeah, we both love Ellie, and I think there is some Ellie bias here. But to be fair,
I've spent years barely playing Ellie, and when Catalyst came out, I didn't even like Hammer much. I've only really started to enjoy it more past two and a bit months, something like that. But yeah, that's where I am at the moment. So.
I will say though that Ellie, out of all classes, probably benefits the most from this.
Oh, really? Really? So we're starting with what you think had the biggest impact? Really?
Well, I mean, just in general, because they don't have access to a lot of weapons. And now they have so much more access than before.
I feel like you must be in heaven, Boots, because I remember very distinctly in the early days when the specialization system came in, you were the kind of player that ran the maths and was like, oh, we've got X number of less possibilities now, and you were very upset about that. And now, there's a lot more available.
So I am in heaven, yeah. I do look forward to the possibility of trying out all these new things and seeing what's good. But I will say that probably in 2-3 months after it comes out, the meta will shake out again, and it's
yes,
yeah, there will be a new best thing for something. But it's the game is not going to be that different.
Yeah, it will just settle down into what's good, and that will be the only stuff that matters. So all the potentials are irrelevant. This was my argument years ago, Boots. This was my argument. But speaking of strong stuff, I'm really excited about these. Okay, Shield. I think Shield is OP. I love Shield.
It's OP. It is OP, yeah.
It is so goddamn good. We've actually seen Shield go through a couple of changes with the recent boon changes that went into the game, but nonetheless, again,
put this S tier.
Oh, you going all the way up to S?
All the way up to S, because Shield...
on Mirage, I want to say A for Mirage.
Did Mirage get back their double dodge?
Yes, it did, but now you can't
put it back up to S.
Now you can't use it while you're stunned and stuff. So it is slightly different.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Okay, keep it at A then. Keep it at A. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but nonetheless, Shield Virtuoso.
That's S.
I think that's so good, right?
Yeah, all the blocks.
If people aren't familiar right now, in competitive, one of the biggest ways to play Virtuoso, or Condi Virtuoso, is essentially to blast someone with a ton of confusion and torment and stuff with your shatters, and then just troll around with blocks and stealths and wait, and then do it again, and then troll around with blocks and stealths and do it again. And this fits so people will run Scepter Shield on that. Oh no, but then you lose the torch. I don't know, maybe there's a justification for no staff in the end. I don't know, I still think this is really good. I really think Shield's amazing, so I'll put that out there.
I agree.
What do you think about
In fact, actually, no, you could drop the torch probably, because you go invisible, but wouldn't it be better to be visible to your enemy while they have confusion so they feel they could do stuff to you?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. There's a bit of cleanse and torch. It's tricky. But I think we'll see a lot of utilization of it. Shield Mirage, we kind of glossed over. I'm not really sure.
Well, it's just Mirage is very strong offensively. So if you add a more defensive weapon to it, they could build away from whatever previous defenses they had. and just go even more offensive.
I mean, that once upon a time, I played a lot of Mirage, and I would say, yeah, oh my god, if I could have a shield on it, you know. Especially if you wanted to play like a really tanky spec that sits on the node for a while. I could imagine, like, back that old Chaos variant with Mirage, if you could have had a shield on that, it would have been nuts. And but a lot of that stuff's nerfed now, and I don't know what I think about it anymore. Okay, so Axe. What do you think about Axe? We've got Axe on Chronomancer now, and we've got Axe on Virtuoso.
I've never been a huge fan of Axe. I don't know why.
I've had my moments with it, but yeah, I don't know. It feels slightly undertuned in the world of today.
I mean, it's a decent Condi weapon, but on Chrono, Condi Chrono, I think there is some Condi Chrono out there.
There is. I think an Axe Condi Chrono is probably pretty good. Yeah. And I'm trying to constantly think about PvE as well, like in terms of just like normal gameplay, the kind of gameplay people go through when you guys pick up Secrets of the Obscure, you know, and you're doing whatever content is in these new maps, you know, those builds and those experiences matter, I think, a lot. And I think Axe Chrono will probably feel quite good, you know, fighting vets and elites and stuff.
Would it be an A though, or a B? We got to start putting stuff at B.
Yeah. I think it's probably B.
And Axe Virtuoso, how's the clone generation on the Axe?
It's okay actually. You use the 2 to go through people, and then there's like this little pink thing, and if the target stays near it, it will generate a clone for you. So that would be a blade instead that you would get.
Now I'm gonna take a quick look at how the
the 2 has like 2 ammo on it, so you can kind of use it regularly.
Does Axe do bleeding?
No, it's just it's heaps of torment is what I remember.
No, it does bleeding. The auto attack bleeds.
Oh, okay.
So you know what? That might work well with Virtuoso, just to generate stuff.
Yeah, I could see that. The thing is, Dagger on Virtuoso, Dagger main hand is just mental. It's just crazy, and especially with the rework, it's just so strong. I personally don't see myself taking that Dagger off for an Axe. I just don't see it. I really don't. But by the way, the other ultimate combo here, guys, is the Axe Shield Chrono. Sorry, the Axe. What? Axe
Wait, now hold on a
Virtuoso.
second. Tio.
Yeah.
Dagger. Condi Virtuoso.
Yeah.
Generates its clones through the stacking of bleeding, basically.
Bloodsong trait. If you take the trait, yeah, Bloodsong.
Right. But the dagger doesn't do any bleeding itself. You have to take a trait to do bleeding with the dagger, right?
I don't remember. But it doesn't matter. Even on even power dagger is just mental. I mean, and it's got so good range, and the cleave
but
on it.
I'm wondering if the bleeding on the axe will benefit the Virtuoso more than the bleeding on the dagger.
I guess that's a good point, actually. If we imagine ourselves bossing in raids, and you want to play, maybe you put an axe on the Virtuoso there in the end. You think that could be a build? What are we saying here? If it could be...
I would have to really look at it. I don't know if it's better or worse at this point. Because I think it depends on if it's a blade attack or something with that trait for dagger. I don't know.
Oh, maybe. We'll leave it at B. If it doesn't leap off the page to us, I think it doesn't deserve to be in the upper echelons. I seem to have messed up with the tier list.
What is this? Dagger.
Because I've got Dagger Chrono there, but I've forgotten to
You don't have a Dagger Virtuoso.
Dagger Mirage. Dagger Virtuoso.
That's the one, yeah. Dagger Mirage. Dagger Chrono. I mean, it's good just to have a nice ranged weapon, right?
Yeah, I think you're right, actually. On Chrono... I don't really care that much, though, because I kind of want to be standing in my wells. I kind of want to be on them. You know, shield fits Chrono really well, and there's a sort of close range sort of vibe about that. I don't really care about the range on that. But Dagger Mirage is amazing, I think. I can't believe I didn't write the goddamn thing, because I would put it... In fact, what's that say? That says... I
can't even read it.
What have I written there? Oh no, that says Mace Holo. I thought that said Mare Hobo or something. No, I messed that up. Look, guys, if you imagine Dagger Mirage, definitely I would have that A tier. A or S.
I do have a question though about the dagger. Okay, so the dagger for a Virtuoso, because there's no clones for a Virtuoso, it's just blades above you. So stocking a blade with number 2 does a blade above you, and it's on a 5-second cooldown. So you could summon clones.
That's a really good point. Very good point. Oh, yeah, for sure. I really want Dagger Mirage. I want to try. I really want to try that.
And also the fact that the clones that you summon will be using the dagger as well, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's been no such... Very good, man. There's been no such thing yet as a dagger clone, and there will be dagger clones after this.
Dagger clones on top of that, and then on top of that, like, yeah, I want to see what I should have tried this on the beta, but I want to see what the ambush is like with the dagger.
So these will be more ranged clones. Currently, the only ranged clones are the Scepter and the... Oh, no. Greatsword is it as well. Never mind.
Greatsword, yeah.
I was going to say staff, and they're all slow. But whatever. No, I think that's a really good point. And that's an interesting mechanic, yeah. So for all those reasons, I would put it at A, because there's stuff to think about, and there's stuff going on.
Sure.
However, as far as Chrono's concerned, I mean, do we care about continuum splitting, dagger skills,
not as
or anything
much.
like? We don't.
Not
care.
as much. I think it's really just the possible ambush. I think that's interesting.
Yeah. Well, there you go, guys. So that's Mesmer. Let's move on to Necro now. So we have the two Greatswords. I'm gonna put them down here just for now. So we're gonna get Greatsword on Scourge, and we're gonna get Greatsword on Harbinger.
I think they might both be D tier.
I didn't mean to like influence us there, but I think you might be right, because when I think Harbinger, well, there is power. I mean,
Harbinger. there's technically a power Harbinger, yeah. I feel, and the power Harbinger. The interesting thing about it is that you want to be in close proximity, right? Because they have that power pulsing thing for the Grandmaster trait.
That's true. It spams weakness and damage on people near you.
Yeah, but I mean, you never take it anyway because you just want the quickness, but...
That's true, yeah. Actually, Boots, to tell you the truth, I kind of do like this Greatsword Harbinger, because I do like Power Harbinger a lot. People who watched when End of Dragons came out, and I played through End of Dragons the first time, I spent a lot of time on a Dragon stat Harbinger. And when I think about it, I had Pistol, I had Axe, I had Focus. I really was hurting for a really good power weapon. And I think if I could have put a Greatsword on that, I would actually have a lot of fun. I'm putting that all the way up to A. I think I think, genuinely, I would happily play the expansion on a Greatsword, a Dragon stat or a Berserker stat or whatever, Harbinger.
I guess the fact that Harbinger has those movement skills in their shroud.
Yes, and you get the blind field for like when people. You get a nice pull and stuff. I really like Greatsword. I mean, I think Gravedigger's a bit lame, but still.
I think it goes down to B tier for me at the highest.
Okay, so since I already pulled a veto, I'll listen to you there. But
this can't be my veto, though. This can't be my veto.
See, no, I'm going to leave it at A then. I really want to do that. In fact, I will do that. I will play a little bit of that when the expansion comes out.
Okay, and then when you get bored of it, put it down to B tier.
Okay, and I think Greatsword Scourge is probably D, right? I mean,
can we think of any redeeming qualities about Greatsword Scourge?
I don't enjoy Power Scourge that much. I will acknowledge, and I've been playing it a little bit, in World vs. World Zerging, people are very hot on Power Scourge at the moment because of all the boon rip and, dumping the wells and the shades and a little bit of that.
Sure, but you don't want to really be...
If you put a Greatsword on it, I think that Nightfall still corrupts boons, doesn't it? So people might like to drop a random expanding field, maybe.
But if you're talking about World versus World, like, how often are you that close to people?
Well, it can happen. It depends what the nature of the Zerg fight's like. But yeah, people smash into each other in melee sometimes.
I guess
they do. They run over each other. And maybe and pulls are kind of okay in World versus World. I'm going to move that to. But am I reaching here?
You're reaching.
Because the fact is, they're going to want Scepter 3 for AoE boon rip, and they're going to want Staff for a bit of haze damage and easy pressure with the marks.
You're going to just want Staff, and you're going to want probably Axe, something else.
They run in Scepter.
If you're Power.
They're running Scepter.
If you're Power?
Yeah, I know. Believe it or not. They're all loving the Scepter.
Right.
I really hate the build, but that's kind of where people have settled. So, and I don't know enough about World versus World to tell you the truth to sort of go in another direction with that. So, all right, we'll leave that at D. I think that's fair to be a D tier. I think that's fair.
Okay.
Another D tier potentially. And this is the problem. I think some of the best weapons boots are when they're really tightly made with the elite spec in mind, but that now comes to bite them in the arse with this system. Because
what's the problem with the torch for you? Why is it bad?
Well, okay, hold on. There is kind of a Condi Reaper floating around in competitive at the moment.
Is.
I don't really like the build, and I don't really like playing it in PvE either. So, personal preference, I don't really care that much. However, Torch would probably be alright on it. I mean, I think Torch is, to tell you the truth, Torch is an extremely strong weapon. Back during like the Scourge heyday, like anyone will tell you that. So much life force, great cleave, through walls, knockdown.
And what's your other option for Condi Reaver? You got Dagger.
I mean, Staff is always incredibly good.
Yeah.
You got Scepter, you got Dagger offhand. Oh, sorry, you're just talking about the Dagger offhand. Yeah. Dagger offhand. Warhorn.
You got Dagger and Staff. So this could replace Dagger.
It could. It easily could. And I think it will see play in that way. Condi Reaper kind of got a bit of a nerf because of some corrupt nerfs recently. I'll put that at C, I guess.
Okay, I have no arguments.
I'm not too excited about that. I hear you see me putting that in C. I think I do that in I think I do that in tier list videos because it feels empty. So like I'm unduly influenced to put it up.
No, I'm happy. I'm happy with that in C though.
Okay. What about Torch Harbinger?
Could be decent.
I think this one's B easily, right? Because Harbinger is great with Condi.
Exactly.
I'd rather have a Torch in the offhand than a Dagger in the offhand.
I mean, it might be even A tier.
Yeah, I think it will see play. I really do. If Condi Harbinger continues to be a thing, having it with a Torch is just really great. It's like a pretty clear mathematical best in slot type situation. Yeah. Is it really titillating to me? Is there some fun mechanical way of going on with it? No, not really. And I kind of hate thinking of Torch without Scourge, you know? It's sort of like the burning sands and stuff, and now it's just everywhere. I don't know. Then we got the pistols. So a pistol Reaper.
So pistol is decent Condi and decent power.
Yeah, and I love the stun. Look, these skills are not that inspired, guys. Like, it's basically just engineer pistol with slightly different calibration. You know, you've got a rapid fire thing, and you've got like a CC. So let's
say you're a Reaper, and let's say you're not a Condi Reaper because you have other options for Condi. Yeah. Let's say you're a Power Reaper, like you would probably normally be. Would you use pistol over axe?
I think so, especially in situations in PvE where there's break bars. I really like that stun. You know, Axe doesn't really offer you anything for that, but if I can just dip out a shroud, crack him in the head for, you know, good break bar damage on the 3, I like doing that. And also the life force on the 2 is huge.
Okay, I'm happy with at least a B, yeah.
Axe is great, but look, I used to love Axe when Axe has got this thing, the Axe 3, where if it hits someone low, it bounces off again. It's like an edge of extinction type thing. And when that was tuned stronger, I thought Axe had this really interesting, fun identity. Nowadays, I don't really care that much about Axe, and Pistol just feels like it has that weight to it. So I don't know.
Okay, I'm now. Hold on a second though. I'm now looking at our whole board, and I'm seeing a trend. So what's happening right now is, if there's a weapon that is just strong and it's gonna replace things mathematically, we're going A tier. But if there's something that is just going to be really special for different reasons than it just being strong, it's going S tier. But that hammer tempest is like, it's a black mark on the S tier right now.
It's my veto. I'm allowed my veto. I've got my hands up here. I'm allowed my veto. Okay, fine, you're allowed a veto as well, Boots. Okay.
Okay.
Look at all these beautiful tiles down here. You could veto any of them. Okay.
All right. Okay.
All right. Finally, pistol Scourge. Again, I mean, it's sort of Torch Harbinger level stuff to me. It's just feels good.
No, I think it's just B tier still, though.
Oh yeah, I'm happy to do that. I think A is a bit overloaded. I don't know. I really like pistol, and I quite like Scourge. And there's good Condi synergy there. There's good life force there.
Yeah.
There's good
damage.
This doesn't count for PvE too much, open world PvE, because you don't get pressured that much. But like in competitive, when you want to like peel and get away from people, which happens a lot on Scourge, it's really nice to be able to crack a quick stun on someone. I mean, that's going to feel really good. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I like these two things. So
okay, I'm fair with that. Cool. That's fine.
Okay, so
where are we? We're on engineer now.
We are. We're on to engineer, and we're on to what I thought said hobo before. I've picked a horrible colour for this. I'm so sorry, everyone.
I cannot read that at all.
Yeah, I'm wondering sometimes if my eyes are bad, but that's just genuinely awful. Look, it says hammer holo. Okay, so we've got a hammer on a holo.
That could be fun.
I'm trying to think.
It's got some blocks on there. Might generation, but you get might generation from holo by itself.
How often do I play hammer in PvE? I see. I really like Scrapper. People judge this, all right, but if you want to run around with a ton of gyros on, just spamming bzz, bzz, bzz damage that you just press off cooldown, and you know when that used to spam out the quickness stuff, I like that. I really, I like gyro gameplay a lot, and especially before the boon change up. You know, you could load into fractals for a good while recently, and just load up with a bunch of gyros spamming quickness all over the place. I liked it, and that was fun, but none of that was really hammer.
Yeah, hammer is a fine weapon though. It's got strengths, like the block that. But shield replaces some of the interesting things about hammer.
I've got a proposition here, Boots. I say it's A. Now,
just because of the way you think it'll feel, switching back between the light forge and the hammer.
Yes. First of all, yeah, I do agree with that. I think that would be cool. But I'm gonna put this at A. Because I feel like whenever I play engineer, I'm like, I wish I had more weapons. Like, more than any other class, this is an argument you made a minute ago. More than any other class, I'm like, I want more weapons. Yeah, like, I don't really want to mess around with shield. And so now finally I can be like, all right, I'll put a hammer on. I can imagine myself actually doing that with a holo. I really can. I can imagine dropping dropping the 5, the hammer 5, and then going into photon forge and comboing out of it, you know, either with the leap or the 5 in the forge. And it's just something different to use.
It is a nice power weapon.
Yes.
And the other options for holo for power, I guess, is the rifle and the sword shield.
Basically, yeah. I mean, you've got pistol in there as well. And in fact, there's kind of more of a combi holo now, right? So
yeah.
I don't know. And hammer would know that. Yeah. But I'll put that up there. However, that's not the only hammer. We also have hammer mechanist.
I don't think hammer... Sorry, I think hammer holo is maybe a B.
All right, I'll stop disagreeing with you. I think I'll leave it down there.
Okay.
I still think it's quite cool. But all right, I'll leave it. Hammer mech. What do you think? In terms of theme, it's got something, you know.
Sure,
Mace, hammer, you're like the mechanist, you know?
Yeah, but you can't run both.
Well, of course you can, hammer mech. You can... Oh, you mean...
No, but you can't run mace and hammer.
You can. You can put a toolkit on, and that's got a little mace, a little wrench on there, you know?
Okay, so what the hammer does is...
You tank up and you block while the mech beats people up. Can the mech combo in your fields?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the thing is, Mace is really strong.
Mace is... That's the main issue. Mace is one of the weapons that carries mech. Is the hammer... Like, if you were a power mech, is having a hammer going to give you more DPS?
I'll tell you, Boots, I would run it. I would run this. I think I prefer hammer to mace shield, just if I'm running around open world. And if I want to do that with a mech with me, fine. I don't think it has to be any more fancy than that. I would just... It would be my... It's funny, actually, the more I think about engineer, the more I realise I don't like a lot of their weapons. And hammer is pretty passable to me, so...
Yeah, but I mean, that's why they buffed rifle, right? Basically for mech to feel good as a power mech rather than something else.
And so we can have hammer with it instead. I'm really trying to think of some fun interactions to be had there. What are the mechanist, like, barrier alacrity interactions at the moment? Because don't you get... Oh, I don't know. You don't get barrier by default on hammer, do you? It's just a block. Is it a block and you gain barrier?
So I think it used to be on auto attack you got barrier for everybody.
Right.
Now I think it's your skill 2 gives you barrier.
On hammer?
On the mace.
You're talking
on the
about
mace. On the mace. Yeah. A hammer, I don't think you get any barrier.
Yeah. Well, we'll leave that there then at B. You happy with it at B?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so then there's Mace Holo and Mace Scrapper.
Mace Scrapper, I want to put at least A because I'm very interested in trying it out as a support spec.
Really?
Yeah, I'm interested in trying out a Mace Scrapper as a support spec. Mace by itself is just a great support weapon. And I think Scrapper, Heal Scrapper, or not Heal Scrapper, but like Quickness Scrapper. That Quickness trait now is when you do a combo finisher, a leap or a blast in a combo field.
Right.
You give Quickness to everybody, and Mace has that 6-second cooldown
leap.
Leap, and I think they just work very well together. And with the barrier, it's just an extra little bonus there. I think a Mace Scrapper could work pretty well for a quickness giver.
That's a really good point. I like the sound of that a lot. That's cool. What do you think about Mace Holo?
I think it could be good too. That might be a B or an A as well.
Really? You're not overrating that?
No, because Holo is just a good spec, and you probably just use a lot of kits to go along with it. So, like, if you give the problem is Mace is just strong. So when you give strong weapons to anything, it's decent. It's kind of like with, Warhorn and Elementalist. If you give it to a Weaver and a Catalyst, it's just pretty good.
But okay, on a Condi build, would you really want Mace? You'd want pistol over it, surely.
I suppose so, just for the range.
So a Condi Holo probably wouldn't care about this. Now a Power Holo, would they still want sword or rifle?
Would they not care about it though? I might take Mace over pistol.
Really? I mean, it's your call. It's your call. I personally would have this at C. I have absolutely no inspiration or excitement about this combo here.
Hold on, let me just look at the Mace traits again.
Okay.
The Mace skills. Okay.
You're gonna see. This is live.
Confusion. Leap forward, smash the ground, inflicting conditions, and gaining barrier. How much barrier is it? And then also you got the stun on the number 3, which is nice.
Yeah.
It's a decent amount of barrier. And vulnerable to confusion. You get regeneration and vigor.
What are you thinking about right now? Are you thinking about raiding mostly strikes?
Not for a holo.
No?
No, I feel like you could use it on a holo for like general PvE or World versus World.
I think the thing is for me in general PvE, I like a bit of range. I don't like everything to be a melee like stat wall.
Yeah, I guess so. But as a holo, you're gonna be in there a lot of the time.
Yeah, so I like, you got the Photon Forge for that, and then when I'm out of Photon Forge, I'd like to, or as I'm running in, I'd like to be able to engage with a bit of range or something, so...
Yeah, that's fair.
I think
that's fair. You like the versatility of PvE having the option to be ranged and not going into form.
Yeah, if you think about like Mace with the leap, Photon Forge itself is like the 2 leap, so maybe that actually might feel really good. That might feel really mobile, like you're just doing all these little leaps around.
Yeah.
I don't know. It might feel good. I'll put this at B, and I'll put it up here for the argument.
I'm happy with B.
For the same argument I started the engineers section with, which is just that it feels like they've got so few weapons. Having new ones and new options, it would just be fun to shake stuff up as you're playing. So then we're on to sword. I've written Mace Holo twice apparently. We've got sword scrapper and sword mech.
I've never really liked sword.
Oh really? Not at all.
Not really, no.
Well, here's the thing I want to say about sword. Now, this is the first time in this video this has come up, but it will come up a few times. Sword is a weapon that has specific mechanics around holo, heat mechanics. It has skills that scale at high heat and feel fun to use while playing with the heat mechanic.
Fun is debatable.
Well, that's the point. The weapon is about the heat side of things.
Yeah,
really, right? You want to get the higher impact on the various skills because you're initiating them at high heat. And then it feels even better when you take the Grandmaster that gives you a higher heat gauge. So now the sword skills have reached a whole new tier that you never knew was possible.
Now, I have a question.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
I was not able to test it during the beta. I don't know if it is or not. Do the mace and the hammer have heat mechanics for the holo?
Well, I wasn't here for the beta either. What do you mean? I don't know. People in the comments can tell us that.
Yeah, because if that's the case, that's pretty interesting, isn't it?
I doubt it, though. See, here's the thing. Here's what I'm trying to get around to, and I'm sorry, this is a bit cynical, a bit pessimistic or whatever. I'm assuming there will be no compensation to the sword for putting it on the other elite specs, and I certainly don't think there'll be compensation the other way. I don't think you'll get a heat hammer mechanic.
Well, now hold on a second. I think you're right in assuming that there's no compensation for putting the sword on another weapon, on other elite specs. Fine. I'm happy to put that C and D, the two sword options.
Which one's lower in your estimation?
sword mechanist, maybe.
Really? Because there's not even a theme.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, they're both pretty bad.
I think these are both D boots. I think they're both D.
I think so too.
Because not only do you lose just the cool factor of the mechanic, but they're just weak. It's just a weak weapon with no heat. It's just a weak weapon.
Now, why don't you think, though, that the mace or the hammer might get something special with regards to the heat mechanic for holo? Because they did do something special for the hammer with the weaver. But
they kind of had to.
They kind of had to. And the same thing with the untamed that we'll get to in a bit.
Yeah, because there's literally no button there otherwise, right?
Yeah.
I mean, well, they could have. I don't know. The thing is, I didn't hear that they've done this. I haven't looked into it, so maybe people in the comments can tell us. It would be cool. It would be amazing, Boots, to see some kind of sword interaction for Scrapper.
Yeah, but to be honest, if they didn't do it to the core weapons, they probably won't do it to these weapons.
No. So, we'll see. I'm going to put these really low because... And I get that it's because they were cool. They were holo. I've said this before. Okay, I've been saying this for probably half a decade now. And I will continue to say, even after the whole End of Dragons batch, holo to me is the best elite spec they ever made. In terms of, like, in my opinion, how the mechanic feels, how the skills feel, how it all ties into a beautiful theme. It's all really well made. It's all very... You get interesting interactions between the Grandmasters. It's a really, really good, cool spec, you know, efficacy arguments aside. And now it's being screwed because of that, I think. Because so much thought had gone into it. So
why do you think it's getting... What do you mean screwed?
Because sword is underpowered without heat, and now you don't get to use it.
Sure, but that's screwing the other two elite specs, not the holo.
Sure, but I mean, the design of holo being so good has meant that a component of it can't easily copy-paste onto another class.
But isn't that good for the holo? Now the holo gets options that are possibly better than what it had previously.
Maybe it does, yeah. But for these two, they'll be at D tier for me, I'm afraid.
Yeah. That's fair.
So onto Ranger, and unfortunately I've picked almost the same color as green as Reaper. I did these at separate times, guys. You have to forgive me. This is a slightly lighter green. This is a happier green. Therefore, we're in Ranger territory.
I think that one is a slightly happier green, but I think the ones down below are back to the Reaper green.
Yes, they are. They are. You're right. I didn't copy. I thought, that's close enough that I didn't copy paste the color code.
Oh my goodness.
Well spotted. Okay, so Staff Soulbeast.
Staff is an interesting weapon. Soulbeast, though. The auto attack for Staff is kind of fun in that it's like a ranged thing that's not a projectile.
Can't you ally target with that nowadays as well? You can actually...
Also, yeah, you can. Yeah, so and it has that support aspect to it.
Okay, yeah, see... Go ahead.
I don't know, Staff is just... Like, Soulbeast doesn't want support at all.
It's too supporty. It's a brilliant weapon. It's very cool, but it's too supporty. It's so supporty. I mean, what do I if I think about taking a staff as a ranger on my own, open world PvE, or in some kind of like self-sustaining spec in competitive, I'm taking stuff really for the movement on the 3. That's what I care most about. And you know, I've got Greatsword and stuff for that anyway, and the sword rework now. I don't see space for staff. I don't care.
Yeah, it's true. Soulbeast doesn't want support.
So are you going to be a support Soulbeast? Are you going to be a Soulbeast healer by merging with supportive pets and healing people?
I will say just the movement on the 3 and the interesting auto attack make it a C tier rather than a D tier.
No. You can't just rate the weapon. We're rating the weapon.
I can, and I will.
We're rating the weapon elite spec combo, and it gets nothing comboing with Soulbeast.
I think it's a C tier because the same reason why a lot of our A tiers are just there because of the weapon being good.
But this doesn't synergize with anything Soulbeast does.
I don't know, man.
Who is going to take a staff on a Soulbeast and be like, oh, I'm sure happy I'm not running that Longbow or that Greatsword or that sword or the warhorn combo or whatever. You know, they've got so much strong stuff, and this has no impact.
The mobility.
Yeah, but you've got mobility on sword and Greatsword.
Yeah, but then you have to be. But this is ranged on top of having the mobility.
Oh man. Okay. Okay. All right. That's your veto. We both get 2 vetoes. That's
fine. This is a veto. This is a C tier. I'm never gonna play it, but it's still C tier.
He said this, guys. He's not even gonna play it. All right, go on then. Talk to me about Staff Untamed. There's a fun conversation here, at least, isn't there?
The unleashing. Yeah, you get special skills.
So there will be a new Staff Unleash.
Yeah, I should have seen what it was.
And I don't know what it was either, because I didn't see the beta.
I mean, it would be interesting because like you can target allies. So I wonder if Untamed buffs the healing.
Oh, you can unleash. I kind of like that. This is going C because it's got look, as far as I'm concerned, if ArenaNet made a new B, if ArenaNet made a new mechanic, it deserves B. At least, if there's a new skill, if there's something to see, that's content as far as I'm concerned.
Okay,
so
I'm happy with this.
Staff Unleash. I don't know what it did.
Untamed is a support class in a way, in that it has the quickness that it gives to people. So maybe you could do some sort of support Untamed. It won't be nearly as powerful as. That's
new. The boon rework. I haven't actually played that yet. I haven't seen what it's like to be a quickness ranger. But yeah, so that's quite interesting, and I think, guys, if you are really curious, you could look up online. But if you're in game at the moment, maybe alt tabbed listening to this, and if you're even on your ranger, there'll be someone probably. If you in your hero panel, I think it does list all these new abilities already. You can just mouse over it in the build screen, and you'll see.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like those orb abilities on the hammer weaver. They're all in game. You can see them.
Shouldn't we be like looking at this while doing that?
Well, no, you can't. You can't use the skill. You can just mouse.
No, but at least like just to look at what it does. We're doing all this conjecture on some of these skills.
It's fine. All right. Next we got Dagger Druid.
Dagger Druid. No.
See, here's the problem with Druid. Druid is so... And this changed with the recent patch. Actually, I really liked one of the elements of a recent patch. We haven't done a balance with boots for a while, guys, but they created a DPS Druid, like a Condi Druid. Yeah. And it's got cool like trait names like Blood Moon and Eclipse and stuff. But would you run a Dagger on that build? I mean, maybe if you really want to. I could sort of see a little bit of space for it.
Yeah, I know. Dagger's got some Condi on it. And sure, maybe over a sword, maybe. It's fine.
Dagger is one of a main hand dagger on a ranger is one of my least played things of all time. I remember just as End of Dragons was coming out, I was like on my soulbeast, and I was thinking, my God, I must have played these skills like a couple of hours the whole time I've been playing. Like I've spent very little time on dagger main hand. But
I don't play that much ranger in general. I think it's my least played class, so that's probably
we're a bit of an echo chamber here, Boots, because that's the same for me. We need to broaden that a little bit, I suppose.
Oh, okay. You have to start playing ranger then.
I like ranger. I like ranger a lot in a PvE context where you go out and collect pets and stuff. And I wish if they balanced the pets a bit more, it'd probably be my favorite class. I really like pet classes.
I don't like pet classes.
I love how diverse and interesting all of them are as well. Anyway, we got Dagger and Untamed as well. So again, they get an Unleash.
That goes up to B. Yeah, that's fine.
What do you imagine?
And Condi too. You can make some decent Condi Untamed, so maybe that'll be good.
What do you imagine the Dagger Unleash will do? I mean, if they overtune it, then they will make a build with that. I mean,
sure. Yeah, all they got to do is tune it properly.
Do you have any ideas about what it would actually do? An unleashed ranger attack on Dagger?
Unleashed ranger dagger attack. It would do more conditions.
Okay, brilliant. I wouldn't be surprised if that's exactly what they go with. Okay, now I'm going to preemptively put these at D. And maybe this is wrong with me. So
you are incorrect.
Okay, all right. You tell me why I'm incorrect after I give everyone the situation, yeah? All right?
Okay.
My instinct, everybody, is to put these low because hammer is very tightly made to work with leash-unleash mechanic. It has an entirely new set of skills based on what state you're in. If you take that out of Untamed, you've just halved the kit of the weapon. How the weapon is designed, how it is made, you just halved it. So it is, this to me, I think, is, except for maybe a rifle thing we'll talk about in a second, this is the worst example of the system update, like in terms of like, this is really ruins this weapon.
Now, I will tell you why you're wrong.
Okay, tell me. What's good about this, Boots?
So, I remember now that this is one of the things I looked at in the beta.
Oh, okay.
And what's interesting about this is when you're not on Untamed with a hammer, you get to select which version of each skill you use.
Oh my, really? Do they have like new UI where you can right click the weapon skills, like utility skills?
That, yeah, like a little drop down box kind of thing.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So you could create, so they work to get, so the interesting thing about hammer is that whether you're leashed or unleashed, the skills combo with the opposite versions of themselves.
Oh my god, Boots.
So you, yeah.
That's crazy. So really, you can right-click the weapon skills like utilities.
Well, I don't know if it's right-click, but you could click on like a button above.
A little arrow.
A little arrow, yeah.
So they built UI and backend and everything for that. That to me, just aside of this conversation, is sort of suggestive of even more stuff they could do in the future.
Exactly. Like they could weapon training in the future, instead of giving people entirely new weapons, they could add an NPC that trains you to learn a new version of a singular skill on an already weapon.
Yeah, and they could even do, and I'm not endorsing this necessarily, alright, a very old time conversation people have had about the gem store is selling like skill skins. You know, so when you blast out your Torch 4 on a Necro, it's like red or it's like demon coloured or whatever instead.
Sure,
it's the same skill, but and that would be a way of selecting the skill skins if they wanted to monetize that.
I think it's really cool. I think it makes the hammer on the non-unleashed super powerful, actually, because you get to like choose your combos that you do. So I would put
it's easily B at least, because it's got a special thing going on with it.
B, I'd say for druid. I think hammer soulbeast could be an S tier.
S?
Yeah, I do.
Oh,
I do.
See, I don't know how it feels though, because a lot of hammer is having both. You know, one's a setup with the CC, the other's the payoff. So
now, the detractor that I heard from people is that because you get to select these skills in a PvP situation, a lot of people rely on knowing what weapons the person has and then knowing what skills they have. And in this situation where you get to choose, double the skills that you could possibly have, the different combinations, it puts your opponent at a disadvantage not knowing what you have.
I think that's a pretty flimsy argument, though. Because
I thought so too, because you'll learn pretty fast.
Yeah, it's pretty thin in the first place, but even in the world where that mattered, if one of these setups, one of these loadouts is like the definitive best meta, and you're super gimping yourself, that's what the vast majority will be using. But nonetheless, yeah, I see some cool combos. Even aside from all of this, okay, I don't think I was going to leave that in D, because soulbeast is fun. And soulbeast supercharges weapons in a way, right? You merge with a pet and you supercharge. So it will feel fun anyway. I'm happy to leave that at S. Wow, that's a real turnaround there. I genuinely was expecting to rate those low, and look at them.
Yeah.
That is cool. That is very cool. Okay, so let's move on to Thief now. The last of the mediums.
Staff Deadeye.
Yeah, so...
I mean, so Deadeye, you got the Malice, so I guess it depends. You could put that at B.
It has to be B at least, because
of the Malice.
You're going to have a malicious staff, what's it called, sweep or something. Currently, it's a knockdown. So
now it's a knockback? I don't know. Can we look at this in game? How does this work?
Log on to a Thief, press H, and look at the weapon skills, in the build panel. You'll see that.
Press H.
Yeah, hero panel, H.
Okay, well, I'm not going to log in.
All right, well, whatever. So it's going to be B at least. In terms of synergies and stuff,
you kind of want to be away from people as a Deadeye.
Yeah, but only because you don't have quality of life like Staff gives you. Well, but then you don't get all the...
Does Staff really give you quality of life?
You don't get the extra dodges.
Exactly.
You get the 5, you get the blind and the little evade. I mean, it's got some stuff.
It's got some stuff. I don't know if it's that great. A B is fine for me for this.
And it comes down to how good that B is. I like staff as a weapon, and I haven't seen it much recently. So I
like that you could get quickness from Deadeye.
Okay, yeah.
And then transfer that to a staff. I like a quickness
That's
staff.
That's good.
idea.
That's a very good argument there. I think you're right. That will probably be all right.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I'm going to put this to B. I think B
sure.
I think B for sorry, A, yeah. I think A for me, Boots, are builds I actually will probably be playing in the expansion. And I like Deadeye, but I don't spend too long on Deadeye because I don't like rifle that much. And I don't know, I feel like, malicious backstab's kind of fun, but I don't spend too much time on it. Maybe putting a staff on Deadeye, I'll actually try that out. I'll actually give it a shot. We also have staff Specter. Well, see, I'm going to put that... You say air. I'm going to put that at B, because I kind of like the combo of having your wells around you, and then also something kind of, again, like a little bit tankier and a little bit,
Is it tanky?
Grittier. Well, yeah, because you can stand in the wells and, use your 5, and you can use the 3, and you can sort of ward an area a little bit better, I think, on staff, So, and I like the idea of doing that while you're in your Specter wells, and then you
I might be in this position
afterwards.
where I've never really I've not gotten into staff very much, so yeah, that might be the issue for me.
I kind of like the playstyle vibe from staff. That's why it's a B for me.
Okay.
Then we get so rifle.
This is S tier. Sorry.
Oh, S tier.
S tier, but not. I mean, not in a good way.
Hold on. I was going to put both rifles down here. Same argument as the hammer thing. If you don't have Death's Judgment, I mean, Death's Judgment is everything on that kit, really.
It's okay. No,
Death's Judgment
rifle
scales with Malice, and if you don't get Malice, what are you doing with a rifle?
Sorry, rifle. What you're doing is you're being the most annoying ass in the world in World versus World.
Oh, okay. Wait. So you're saying rifle daredevil?
Daredevil. Yeah.
You want to take that into World versus World, and that's an S.
Yeah, it's already annoying to be just like, an infinitely invisible daredevil or some other thief and be annoying that way. Deadeye itself with a rifle being at 1200, 1500 range and just being who you are is one of the most annoying things in World vs. World. Add 2 extra dodges onto that.
1 extra
and it's
dodge.
Just, I mean, but you get a ton more... Yes, 1 extra dodge, but you get a ton more endurance on top of that.
Okay.
It's not fun. It won't be fun for anybody.
But hold on. If you're playing rifle in a World versus World context, you're getting stealth on dodge from a trait, a deadeye trait.
Deadeye trait, yeah.
You don't even have that anymore.
No, you just have escapability.
And you get Death's Judgment is nerfed. Do you get
but
that much?
But you just have escapability. You're not going to be doing more damage.
You get that much.
You're not going to be getting more damage as a daredevil as opposed to a deadeye. You'll be doing probably a little less damage, but you will be more annoying in that you could just stand far away from someone, and if they try to attack you, you just run away a little bit and then come back. And
are you imagining running dash as your grandmaster? You're just going to Naruto dash away from people.
Yeah.
Really? And that's S for you. That's S.
I think in this one specific scenario, it'll be the most annoying thing to fight against.
Okay, I'm going to be clear here. I'm not going to veto you, Boots. I would have no way of knowing this, but I don't think that's going to work. I'll leave it at S. I don't agree on that one, I'm afraid. People can say in the comments. What about Rifle Specter?
It doesn't seem that great.
But Boots, you control and then use your Shroud to get away,
No, Shroud doesn't get you away.
No, but you got all that teleportation on the well skills.
I mean, they're slow, though.
Okay.
It's fine.
Are you happy that in D?
C or D, yeah.
C? Really? You like Rifle a lot, I'm getting from this.
Well, Rifle, it's a very large range.
Okay, all right. Oh god. No, if you have to pick, okay, either this is allowed to be an S or this is allowed to be
put
C.
Rifle down to A then. Rifle Daredevil down to A.
But this up to C.
Yeah.
Wow. We have very different opinions about Rifle, I think.
Okay.
But there we go. Okay, so we've come to a compromise. Scepter Daredevil now.
Scepter's a strong weapon now.
Yeah, I've got to be honest, I'm not too familiar with Scepter. I haven't played enough of it.
Yeah, Scepter started off pretty strong.
It's been reworked a lot, right? And the thing about Scepter is it's very different targeting. All I really know is auto the hell out of an ally to give them crazy barrier and stuff. That's mostly what I do on Scepter.
That's one of the things you can do with it. But they've basically made it, because in trying to balance Specter as a boon role, as a support role, they've unloaded some things from traits and super loaded things onto the Scepter.
I see.
So right now, the Scepter by itself, without boon duration, does a lot of work. Like, you could give permanent protection to 5 allies. So
where are we talking right now? Are you imagining a raid here? Because in the open world, if I imagine when I go through the story, I mostly imagine it as solo gameplay, maybe an ally.
I don't know. I think open world's fine too. Like, with just the skill 2 on a Scepter, you can give a 5-man team permanent 25 might and permanent protection.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff's new, right? I'm sure that a lot of this has been tweaked in the very recent weeks.
So I just think Scepter is overloaded in the support aspect right now, like super overloaded. So if you use it, I mean, obviously Specter itself is kind of a support build, so it's a question of whether you'd ever run like a support Daredevil. I don't know if you would.
I don't think there's much there, is there? There's not much in the way of traits, and physicals don't really do anything for that.
But I think just the strength of the Scepter itself can put support Scepter Daredevil up to like a B even. And Scepter Deadeye may be higher because you have the quickness that you now do.
Really? So you're imagining like a boon support? Also, can I just say to everyone, this again is where the tier list is failing a bit, the format, because there's a difference between Scepter with the different offhands, right? That will change the dual skill.
Yeah. I will say though that Scepter, the fact that it could give 25 might just by itself, overlaps with the quickness support of Deadeye, because Deadeye, when you're giving quickness, the way it's set up right now, you also easily give 25
loads
might
of
to
might,
everybody.
yeah. So you don't really benefit from the double up.
No, but you do have instead you could just give the protection.
Now I think Scepter Deadeye should get to B at least, because and by the way, isn't this true here? You should get a malicious. We talked about malicious staff ambush. There should be a malicious Scepter thing as well, so that can be B at least.
I could put Scepter Deadeye up to A just because I could be interested in trying it out.
Really?
As a support. Because Scepter is just a very overloaded weapon right now.
Scepter boon support Deadeye, as you're thinking.
Yeah, it's an overloaded weapon.
Okay, and Scepter Daredevil you were quite excited about as well.
No, not as excited.
Well, the only thing I can think about is like the Lotus dodge, like a kind of a Condi. Sorry, it's this way.
Yeah.
You could do like a Condi kind of build with Daredevil. There are at least synergies for that.
Yeah.
And maybe you would have a Scepter on there. But I don't know. I'm to be honest, Boots, I'm not that enthused about any of the thief stuff. I think they kind of got screwed a bit with this.
They did get a little bit screwed, but I think Scepter is a strong enough weapon that it might make Deadeye kind of interesting as a support thing. Giving it quickness as well is kind of cool. And yeah, I don't know. Rifle on Daredevil seems annoying in World vs. World.
All right, I'm going to leave this down here because I think we're being a bit too...
Why did we put Staff Deadeye at A?
Because you were really excited about it?
I don't think I was.
Okay, so that goes to B.
Okay.
Yeah? Alright, Staff Deadeye's down there. Okay.
Yeah.
Good?
Maybe it was just, because it was the quickness that you give Staff. Yeah, that was kind of interesting.
Oh, yeah, that was it. Well, look, if we forgot it 2 seconds later, I think it's lost its spot.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't think it deserves it anymore. Alright, on to the heavy armors. Starting with Guardian. So we have the Dragonhunter's stuff first. So a longbow on a firebrand.
Blech.
You don't like this straight away?
Nah.
No, I don't think this is very good either. If you think a lot about Firebrand, it's very point-blank AoE. It's all very close, cones near you and so on. Whether you're thinking about it from a support perspective, a power perspective, a Condi's perspective, it doesn't matter. They're all like close cones. If you think about all the tomes, they're all big radiuses around you. Longbow doesn't really... I mean, the argument you can make and say, oh, well, actually it's S because it complements it, it rounds it out, you know. Now you get your 1200 range from the longbow.
Yeah, but you have other options for ranged.
Personally, I think longbow's really good on power builds. I mean, I'm amazed how much damage True Shot does, how much damage the 5 does. I don't really like it that much in PvE.
Power firebrand, though?
Yeah, a power firebrand I'm perfectly happy to play. I think that's fine. Especially since you're like not locked into an act. And again, this is one of those arguments where it's just a strong weapon. You can put on anything.
Yeah, I think this is more of a C than a B.
Also, self-quickness. So quickness is really nice on Dragonhunter stuff. And so now you can give it to yourself. So I think I'll put that.
You couldn't do that before with the elite spec. With the elite skill.
Yeah, for a couple of seconds. I mean, who gives a crap? Now we can put the mantra on, we can do things. I kind of like this idea.
Okay.
Quickness longbow firebrand. All right. I'm sensing your hesitation there. I'll be lenient on the next conflict. So longbow willbender.
It could be all right, actually.
Yeah, I've sort of heard people being excited about, you know, sprinting on site. If you think about just a willbender in terms of the ground it can cover.
Yeah.
And then you put a solid 1200 range weapon on the end of that.
Like rifle daredevil, this could be kind of in the same vein of the kite ability with the longbow.
Yeah, and also it's massive damage anyway. I think the virtues of Dragonhunter definitely do fit longbow better than the virtues of willbender. But still, yeah, just because, you know, popping F3 on Dragonhunter and then lining up a really long, slow true shot or something works. You're not really going to get that on a willbender. But still... Yeah,
but you get the kite ability, I think, is important.
At some point, you're going to have to stop and stand still and execute an ability. And blocking is nice while you do that.
Okay, all right.
But where do you want to put it, then?
At least what the firebrand is.
Yeah, okay, because there is synergy, right? Big power damage on both things. There's synergy there. Okay. And I do like the idea of running really far and then getting a massive, really long-range longbow hit. Yeah. This is... Boots, I'm going to tell you now, this is another S for me. Axe Dragonhunter. Axe Dragonhunter, baby. Think about it. You put like a test of faith up, right? Like the ring trap that does crazy damage when someone crosses or an enemy.
And then you daze them.
You yank them in with your F1, and then you push them out with a staff, and then you yank them back with the axe. Oh, mwah, beautiful. I really like it. Pulling people into traps, basically. You know, just a little bit more combo. I think this will be really fun. And I love Axe. Axe is fucking cool. To be fair, I like Axe mostly when I can trait for it and get the days on the 2. But nonetheless, this is still, even without that trait, I like Axe a lot. So that's S for me. I'll definitely be playing that everywhere. That'll probably be my Guardian PvE build for a long time.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, I don't know if it's S tier. It might be A tier for me, but I think it's good.
Okay. What about... Well, look, I'll do yours then.
Okay.
So what about Axe Willbender?
I think this is actually pretty good too. It makes a Condi Willbender build a little bit better.
Oh, good point. And that's the kind of thing I like to hear about. Yeah, definitely B at least.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Oh, Guardian comes out. Guardian comes out of this very well because Offhand Sword. I really like Offhand Sword.
Do you?
I do. Well, okay. I like what Offhand Sword can be. The tuning, it feels a bit like a wet noodle sometimes, to be fair.
Yeah, I don't know about Offhand Sword.
A bit slowed. But that's only right now. The actual skills themselves, you know, it's just the specific balance that we're in, man. You've got to look beyond that, all right?
Okay, so Offhand Sword, let's start with Firebrand before Dragonhunter. Offhand Sword, Firebrand, I don't know when I would ever use it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Guardian... Look, if I'm just roaming around in open world PvE, okay, and I'm filling that offhand slot, I like Offhand Sword. It's mobility and it's big power damage.
Why? Like, when are you going to be using this mobility?
When I just run around from mob to
then
mob,
you're going to be using a mouse. You're going to be using a mouse.
No, not always. Sometimes you're in combat and it's just nice to be able to rush around and move things. Sometimes you're in a place where mounts aren't available. It's just nice. It's a nice weapon.
Put it at C at the highest.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah. But I think I like Offhand Sword for what it could be, and I'll tell you, we'll be laughing on the other side of our faces in like a year when suddenly...
Offhand Sword, Dragonhunter, maybe a bit better.
Just a bit more chase. I mean, I would have them both in B, because I can imagine that they would be my slots of choice in PvE, but we can leave them at C if you like.
Yeah, just because I think Dragonhunter, Offhand Sword, you might actually use it maybe in PvP as well at some point, but Offhand Sword, Firebrand, you wouldn't.
It's tricky though, because in PvP, shield is amazing if you're a Dragonhunter, and focus is also very good. But I mean, the tuning tweaks, I don't know, man. All right, okay, we'll leave them there. Okay, so we're on to Warrior. And again, I just want to state for the record for Guardian, I think Guardian comes out of that quite well. I think they're all generally quite up there. It seems crazy to me we put all these Ellie ones so high.
It's because we started off with them. I think they may be...
Sword Tempest shouldn't be that high.
I agree.
Let's put that down. Damage, woo. Who cares? Do you know what I mean? Oh no, it's a lot of damage.
Don't put it to A though.
That's where it was a second ago. Oh no, it was B. What about Sword Catalyst? Let's take that down to C.
It's more damage though.
No, I'm putting it down to C. I don't see any particularly amazing synergy there. It deserves C. Okay.
The damage. It's the damage.
We're putting it to C. We've got to cull away this early bias. All right. So Warrior. I've chosen a colour very similar to Ellie.
Torch Spellbreaker.
This is D.
Yeah.
This is a D. This is the unquestionably the easiest D. This is the lowest of the low. I mean,
Spellbreaker doesn't care about Condi at all.
And that you might argue that's a problem. Well, I don't know where ArenaNet are going here, but you might argue that that's a problem with the elite spec at this point. You might say, well, it deserves some Condi application. When I look at what they're currently doing with Holo, like adding a bit more burning and stuff in there, they didn't need to, but they seem to.
That was always there to begin with.
Yeah, a little bit, but they didn't need. They didn't need to push it further if they didn't want to. They could have just said, well, this is a power spec. So I don't know where they're going with stuff like that. This system seems to suggest that all elite specs. And especially with the idea that there'll never be any more elite specs, that maybe they should all have a power application and a Condi application. I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe
I
one day.
think it's fine that some things don't work well.
I do too, but it means Torch Spellbreaker is clearly awful.
You get the Condi cleanse.
Oh, wow. Amazing. So, yeah, I mean, no fun interactions with full counter, just nothing there. Nothing. And likewise, Torch Bladesworn. I mean, it's the exact same argument. It's the same thing.
Yeah. True.
I mean, who would run it? In what format? There's no world. The world I would run this is I want to run something really wacky. That's the world in which I'd run it.
Doesn't Bladesworn have that one trait that does burning damage?
I don't know. I not off the
Or
top
it used
of my
to.
head.
I don't know if it still does.
I don't think I remember anything like that. But even if it did, no one trait will save this. Sorry, Warriors. I mean, really. Bad stuff. But you do find some redemption, at least, because you're easily in B tier here. You get 2 daggers that you can mess about with now everywhere. And you get to put them on Berserker, which means you will get primal bursts.
Yeah, that's a new thing, so it's got to be at least B.
I'm going to put this at A because I'm really excited to play it. I love... You know what, one of the weapons I wish I used more and like felt like it had more space? I love Dagger Offhand on Warrior. I love Wastrel's Collapse.
Yeah, the extra damage.
I love the damage on the animation on the 5. It's a cool weapon. It just doesn't slot in anywhere. Really.
And you could use it with a headbutt. That's great.
Yeah, so... Oh, good point. Yeah, headbutt, Wastrel's Collapse. I'm going to put this to S. Are you happy with that S? I'm excited to play that.
I would say it's a weak S, but it'll be fun to try.
And let's just assume the Primal Burst is amazing. Again, comments for those who managed to play the betas. Look all this stuff, man. I could have done. I can't believe they did this whole announcement and then the beta. Ugh, just the worst timing. All right, so then you got Bladesworn with the daggers.
I mean, you never use your other weapons as a Bladesworn.
Well, I disagree with that. I really
just to generate stuff, but
I really like Axe Pistol on Bladesworn. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, because you generate stuff.
Well, but even the Pistol 5 is really, really just so much damage.
Sure. But dual dagger, how about that?
There's no ammunition on any of these skills.
No, I don't think it's going to be great. I don't think people would use it.
There's no theme. It doesn't improve anything. I think it's D. And this one's a high D. It's nearly C. I just, maybe if you love Dagger Offhand, you can swap the pistol for it or something, but you're going to lose other trait synergies. I think you kind of get screwed a bit there as well, Warriors. And unfortunately, again, I think Warriors are getting screwed a bit because their elite specs are really tightly made to the weapons. Mm-hmm. And then so pistol not a berserker.
It's a B at least because the new burst skill.
No, it's pistol offhand only, so there won't. There won't be a primal burst. But
the pistol.
I like pistol in general.
So you got the knockback.
But if I'm using my dagger, I'm not using a pistol. I mean, I like the idea of a dagger offhand on one set and a pistol offhand on the other set on the same build on a berserker. That will have some real novelty for me. I'll probably play that, yeah.
What are some other offhands?
Well, there's a lot of strong ones. Axe is OP.
Axe is good offhand, just for damage. Pistol's fine. I think it's okay. I think a knockback, yeah, sure, it's okay.
I'll put it at C.
Put it a B.
Why B, though? Why B?
Because it'll be fun.
Yeah, but only because pistol is alright. It has nothing. It has no synergy with berserker beside power damage.
Yeah, so it doesn't have the synergy with the headbutt, but I think knocking someone back and then dashing at them with a headbutt could be fun too.
Knocking someone back? What, with pistol?
Yeah.
Well, how does pistol knock people back? It doesn't knock people back.
Doesn't it knock people back a little bit?
It's got a big noob.
Oh, it knocks you back. Knocks you back.
And then the 4 is
I have not used the pistol at all, have I?
I think it's a C boots. I'm afraid to do it. Oh. And look, any warrior players out here that are like, oh, he's rating them too low. Look, I'm in your corner here by rating these low. Anything I'm rating low, I'm saying these need work. Or maybe they don't need work, but, I feel your disappointment is what I'm trying to say. I think it'd be worse to overrate mediocrity. Then we got pistol spellbreaker.
You step forward and reload your gun.
Yeah. That's the 5. The 5. So you go 5 and then 4 to reload a bunch of it if you want.
Yeah, I guess it's not that great.
Pistol spellbreaker, I kind of want to leave in the B at least.
Why is that better than the berserker?
Exactly. I mean, why am I doing that? I just feel like I'd have a bit more fun on that. Because spellbreaker is more fun in open world PvE to me. For quality of life solo play. You've got so much quality of life from full counter. And I can just really easily imagine, I just want everyone to picture this, you're surrounded by mobs, you proc that full counter, and then bam, the pistol 5 straight after. And look, I know there's 100 weapons that can give you an experience like that, but it just feels alright to me somehow. I don't know. Pistol berserker feels like it's just so YOLO off in one direction, but anything on spellbreaker just feels innately. It's got that solidity to it that I like. I don't know. Am I rambling? The
point is that I didn't even remember the skills that pistol do, so I'm not on board
I'm putting it at B, and a part of that might be trying to throw warriors a bone. You got a pretty big bone right here. You're an S.
I do have a pretty big bone.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're at the end now. We're on to Rev.
Shield Renegade.
So yes, I actually kind of like this, Boots. Just because I can imagine using the F3, you create the portal and the bombardment while I hide in my shield,
Yeah, I mean, I like shield. I do.
I think shield's... This is an example of... I think shield is insanely strong, but the thing is with Rev, if you want a weapon to stall and survive for a while, staff is nearly always the better choice. Because, you get the 3 and the 5.
Why not both?
And, I mean, there's sword 3 and then shield 5 you could maybe combo with or something. But I don't know. I think the problem with Rev, unfortunately, is what I want is a new main hand, okay? If Vindicator or if Renegade had come with a new main hand, then I could combo that with shield in some fun ways. But it's all two-handeds after this. So shield is still just stuck with axe in the main. Or with mace in the main. Sorry, not axe in the main. Mace in the main, or with sword in the main. And it's I don't know, they feel a bit limp to me. because they never got that one-handed synergy. So I think for Secrets of the Obscure, shield is not that exciting. However, after Secrets of the Obscure, if they get a main hand... Actually, what are they slated for in Secrets? I guess that's the next video. We'll deal with that later.
Yeah.
But
I think you're right. Shield Renegade is a little bit lower down than Shield Vindicator in my opinion.
What about like just the synergy of like tanking up, surrounded by your spirits, and citadel bombardment surrounding you?
Yeah, sure. Like you could do that now instead of just the staff. You could have shield something and a staff and extra tankiness.
I will say as well, Herald actually has a shield trait which makes shield feel really good, like with the Condi cleanse and stuff. And you would lose that. So it's B or C for me. Where should we put it, Boots?
C.
C, okay.
Yeah.
So then you got Shield Vindicator. That's
a little bit higher for me, just because I feel like Vindicator can become pretty tanky.
Oh, like a St. Victor Vindicator type of situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
It can be a pretty tanky little guy, and adding a shield to that mix will make it even tankier. I think it could be really annoying to play against.
Okay. See, I think I'm a bit biased. When I imagine all the PvE elements of this, shields often aren't that exciting to me, because it's like, I don't want to just stand there blocking. I want to hit stuff.
Yeah, I feel like shield is not a PvE kind of thing.
But despite that, we put the Chrono shields really high.
Well, because that also has that stun.
Yeah. And it's it's a lot longer block duration as well, because you get deja vu as well. All right, let's you just flit into that reminded me of the whole Dagger clone thing. I'm still really excited to see that. Shortbow Herald. Now, for me, I think I want to put this in B, Boots, because I like Shortbow a lot.
Shortbow's good. Shortbow's a good weapon.
And you know what I hate about Renegade? Everything's so energy costly. All the F abilities and everything, everything's expensive as all hell. And I feel like even Shortbow over time with the balance patches, I feel like it's slightly under budgeted on its energy costs, because the expectation is that you're with Renegade and everything's so pricey. But now I don't even need Renegade. And I kind of like that. Love the idea of Shortbow Herald. Herald can give myself quickness, lots of strong positive boons, and then I can I got all that range, nice comfort and quality of life on Shortbow. Actually, I'm putting this all the way up here.
How's your might generation on the Herald?
I'm putting this all the way up here. I think this is great.
I'm happy with that. How's your might generation on the Herald?
It's pretty good. I don't know where it ends out in terms of like actual raw numbers, but it's pretty good. And actually, as well, having a Shortbow Herald means you might even be able to play kind of a Condi Shortbow Herald as well, or like some. I love Shortbow. So
yeah, Shortbow's a very strong weapon. And I'm happy to put that in it.
Whenever I've wanted to use that in open world, I've had a lot of fun, but I've been like, I got to take all these sigils and things for my quickness, and now I don't have to worry about that. So really excited about that one. Shortbow Vindicator I care less about, but then I haven't played too much Vindicator, to be honest.
Again, Shortbow is just a strong weapon, so it's at least a B, I think, just because of the strength of the weapon. Vindicator is not so much a Condi spec, though. So it loses a bit of strength that way. But you don't have to play, the legend of the Vindicator. You could do something else instead. You could go Malix,
I suppose. But then it's like, there's the combo that could... See, Vindicator in PvE for me is mostly just spamming dodges with Sigil of Endurance and slapping people with Greatsword 2. And I don't really care about Shortbow on that. Can I put this down? Can I put that to C?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's as strong as Herald, but no, I think Strongbow's pretty strong though. I think it could just be a B just on the strength of Shortbow. Okay.
For you, is this tier list mostly just how strong they'll be?
I think
is it how much you like them.
Oh, how much I like them? What are your other ranged options on Vindicator?
Hammer. Is that it? Is hammer it? I'm probably forgetting something.
So I think giving Shortbow a ranged option is good. I think put it at B.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Wow, we're right at the end. So then we have Greatsword. I think Greatsword's awesome. I love that weapon. I really do. So putting it on a Herald. All the arguments I just made for Shortbow on Herald, I'll make for Greatsword on Herald.
Yeah, and you got the quickness on Herald. It's nice. It's good.
I think that will be lots of fun to play. Actually, yeah, all right, I'll put in A. And then, did you want to add anything to that?
No, I'm happy with that.
Okay, and then finally, so this is the end. Greatsword Renegade.
You're thinking standing in the spirits with the greatsword doing your booga booga booga.
No. I just put that there as a placeholder. I wouldn't even put an A. I don't really care. I don't really have any amazing interactions in my mind with it.
Yeah.
You would give yourself alacrity.
Yeah, that's okay.
Spirits plus greatsword. I mean, so what?
You could do a power renegade, I guess. Power alacrity renegade.
Look, if you're a huge renegade fan, then sure, maybe just putting greatsword on it's going to be some fun new novelty for you. But sure. I don't think I am a huge renegade fan.
No, it's a B or a C.
Let's put it at C.
Okay.
So there you go. So that's our tier list. So to recap, at the very top we have a hammer tempest. That was okay, Boots, you have a veto. What do you want to move? Right.
Out of all of these?
Yeah, you got anything you're like, that looks...
Yeah, I'm going to veto your veto and put hammer tempest
No,
back
you
down.
can't. You can't veto the veto. You can't veto the veto.
Why not?
Because that's not how vetoing works.
Okay.
Actually, you can veto the veto, can't you?
I should be able to, and then you veto my veto?
Basically, the point is we're not allowed to overrule each other.
No, put Mace Scrapper higher up.
You want Mace Scrapper higher. Mace Scrapper. Where is it?
Or no, actually Axe Willbender. Put Axe Willbender up to an A.
Axe Willbender at A? Alongside Axe Dragonhunter?
Yeah.
Okay, if you do that, I want to move this to S.
Oh, that's a double veto.
No, it's not a veto. That's a separate conversation, okay? If Axe Willbender's there, alright, we're done. Now, separately, Boots, I want to move this to S.
Okay, then put Hammer Tempest down to A.
Alright, fine, we'll leave it there then.
Alright.
I don't think these are the same level, though. This has got so much self-synergy, you know?
Axe is just a strong weapon, though, and it
but it's not about just...
Willbender doesn't have really good Condi options, but it has a good Condi spec. Like, you gotta do it.
Okay, alright. That was a very good argument you made before, so fair enough. Alright, well, there you go, guys. This is our ranking of the new weapon mastery system. There's quite a lot to think about.
And there's a lot of dependencies on like things that we didn't explore in the beta, right? Like different skills that are in the game that we should know about but didn't look at for this thing.
Yeah, there's some examples in there of like mechanics coming back to bite some of these weapons and where they might be strong, where they might not. There's definitely a lot of work for ArenaNet to do to really round these out, I think. And obviously the highest priority, I think, is definitely anything down at C and D. And then keep an eye on whether these are as insane as they might end up being. Yeah,
you think Hammer Tempest is going to be that insane, huh?
I don't know. I think it'll be fun, though.
Yeah, sure.
I think it'll be fun.
Okay.
And so there you have it, guys. Really. Thanks very much for watching. On the next one, I'll bring Boots back. Since we're both back now, we can do stuff on the regular. We're going to look at the new weapons. We'll do another tier list. And it'll be, just our take on what Secrets of the Obscure is actually adding to the pool. And we'll get a good sense of those. And some of these weapons will probably get mentioned again there because we can dual wield them, wherever there's main hand stuff. So hopefully that sounds fun. I also, Boots, want to talk to you about relics at some point. They did a big blog post about that just the other day. And they did a big lore blog post yesterday, guys. I am aware of that. People on the Spud Discord told me. So I'll probably get a video out about that as well. So thank you, everybody. And that's about the soldier and stuff. I hope you all had a good week. And I will see you very soon on the next one. Take care now. See you next time, Boots.
Bye-bye.
Awesome. 1 hour, 38 minutes.
That's long.
That was long. That's like a balance for Boots.